You the one I want. Found out. You the one I want. Fucked around and found out. You the one. You the one I want. Fucked around and found out. Gave me something to smile about. Now it's blood in, blood out. Let's go half on a townhouse.
What's up with it? FlipSide Nation. I need y'all to like, share, subscribe, comment. We're trying to get the algorithm to send this out to like-minded people. I got a very special guest today. We go, back a few years. Mr. DeAngelo, how you doing today, brother?
Doing well, bro. How about yourself? Appreciate you having me on.
Yes, sir, man.
Yes, sir.
Good to see you, man.
Likewise.
Looking good, man. You looking good.
My man, likewise.
So we met a couple years back, and I can't wait to get into the details. But like I always ask my guests, tell us a little bit about yourself, like, your upbringing, what it was like. Was you, two-parent home, single-family home? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
For sure. Yeah, like I said, man, first off, thank you for having me on. Yeah, I'm Cincinnati born and raised. I split parent household. Mom's dad, my dad ended up moving out to the outer city, Mason. So depending on who you ask, they might say I'm from Cincinnati. I'm not from Cincinnati. They say that with Mason. But yeah, so basically played football my whole life. Ended up playing football in Mason. My story really starts, I would say, when I went to college for football, but then I ended up dropping out, and basically finding my way after that, which is I found real estate. I like to say real estate found me after I dropped out and actually, began my entrepreneurial journey.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So your dad was kind of from the city.
Yeah.
Right.
Moms and pops was from the city.
Right. And then he ended up moving out to Westchester. You said Mason.
Yep.
So when he moved out to Mason, did he feel that would be like a better upbringing for you, or like what was the reason for moving from the city to out that way?
Yeah, I think for him it was mainly just me having a better upbringing. His whole thing was, he was raised in the inner city, saw kind of just his outlook on life and kind of wanted something different from me.
Yeah.
And I would say it exposed me to a different world, just a different way of life, which got me just more comfortable with talking to different races of people. Of course, you go to somewhere like Mason, bro. I went from being 30 kids in my class, 28 of them black. You got, one white kid and maybe like a Indian kid or something like that when you're in Cincinnati Public, to Mason, it's 30 kids in the class. You got one black kid, one Asian kid, one Asian. It's a whole different melting pot, but then, of course, you got a lot of white people as well. So it exposed me, I would say, to America for real.
So tell me, like growing up in, some of the communities that, I'm going to say urban communities.
Yeah.
You come across things like, people on the block, people out there hustling and things like that.
Yeah.
When you was in Mason, did you see anything like that? Like people out on the block hustling and shit?
Nah, man, but it was funny because it was the kids that were hustling. So it exposed me to a whole different way of life. But it was weird because these kids didn't need to, but it was mainly that's what was cool. So it was, looking like black culture, quote unquote, is cool. Some kids, selling weed, selling pills, selling drugs. All of this is in 7th, 8th grade and up to 12th grade. So I exposed me to just a different way of life, but then also like you say, it's like the FlipSide Podcast, the flip side to everything. Just because you in Mason don't mean that there ain't people on, bull stuff either.
Oh, that's a good perspective.
Yes, sir.
That's a good perspective.
Yes, sir.
So when you went to college, let's talk, okay, one more question. In high school, did you have any ambitions or goals to become anything, any aspirations?
It's a good question, man. When I was really young, I wanted to be a judge. And so I found out you had to be an attorney first. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You can't skip no steps. So when I found out you had to be an attorney first, I'm like, all right, judge, I don't know. But other than that, I played football. So it was the ideal for me was to go to college and play football. Yeah. But I was always it was never football or die for me, football or bust.
Yeah.
But I just always wanted to be successful in some form. So
Got you. Okay. So you go to college. What college you went to?
I went to Bowling Green. So I walked on. Yeah. Bowling Green, Ohio. Yes, sir.
Right.
The Falcons. So in the MAC conference.
Yeah, but I said it seemed like a couple years ago, their football team did something big.
But it was lit. The time that I went, it was 2016. They went to the MAC conference championship.
Okay.
So they were real live at that time, and it kind of went downhill.
Dwayne Woods from Princeton ended up going to Bowling Green.
Okay.
I was watching. He damn near might have led the nation in tackles or something. Yeah. But I remember Bowling Green was on my radar before. He probably a little younger than you. I think his name was Dwayne Woods, linebacker, came up out of Princeton.
Yeah, they just had somebody go to the league from Bowling Green, so they legit. But basically, it was a walk-on situation. So my whole thing was at that time, just like any athlete that's good in high school, it's D1 or bust, right? That's where I was at, D1 or bust. So I had committed to like an Indiana State. It was another walk-on opportunity. They were a smaller Division I school.
Indiana State, is that where Larry Bird went?
Yeah, exactly. Yep, Terre Haute, Indiana. Yep, that's it.
Damn,
So I was I committed to there. I was super excited about it. My coach came to me with an opportunity about going to Bowling Green for a walk-on. So they were a bigger school. I'm excited about that. I was up there for about a year. It just didn't work out, politics or whatever, but I won't just say that. It was just mainly my heart wasn't in it with them or whatever. So long story short, I was up there. Then I ended up transitioning to Davenport University. Up there for a little bit, but again, it wasn't the same intensity, same passion for the game that I had at that time. So I ended up dropping out, and I basically went to college for football. So once I felt out of level football, I was out of level college.
So when you dropped out, what was your mindset? Where you go from there?
Man, after dropping out, it was something where, the traditional family standpoint, everybody say, you got to go to college to be successful. So I can't say it was any different. Like when my family was mainly like, why are you dropping out? What is your plan? All that. I can say my dad, man, at that time, he has a nonprofit as well. And he had started his clothing company for it. It was 2D Authentic Design. Long story short, he just showed me he bought a print press and just showed me entrepreneurship was possible.
Exactly.
So just me seeing an example in my life, man, this is actually something I can do. Just being an entrepreneur. Didn't really know what it was, but after that, working side-end jobs, really not knowing what I wanted to do, and then wholesaling found me. I was basically on break at JD Byrider, bro, detailing cars, yeah.
Damn.
A guy by the name of Mark Winton was on a Breakfast Club, and he talked about wholesaling real estate, and the rest was, the next day I got up, started cold calling people.
Damn, shout out to the Breakfast Club.
Shout out to them,
so right
Mark
there,
Winton.
Man, listen, man, you just said so much right there, man. Something I could, enlighten the people on.
For sure.
So if you got a business, you should put money into marketing because here we got somebody who said they was at a job and they heard some marketing. So obviously the Breakfast Club paid to get whatever that advertisement out there. You heard it and you end up going into what you heard them talk about. You went into wholesale. Yeah. And that ended up changing your life.
Trajectory.
That's how I actually met you doing wholesaling. So when I met you, well actually you found us.
Yeah.
Now, tell me how you went about finding us. Then I'm going to tell you about my opinion of you and what I was telling, my brother Daryl. How did you find us?
Man, that was funny. So we met, it took me 9 months to get my first wholesale deal.
Okay.
That was basically trial and error or whatever. So that was 2018, March 2018. By the time I got my first deal was in February 2019. So I met you guys before I, left or whatever. So 2019, we met somewhere during that time. Y'all had bought a property somewhere in South Cumminsville area. I had a deal on Elmore Street I was trying to sell. So anybody, that's used to wholesaling and maybe you've heard of wholesaling, basically the best way to find buyers is, reverse engineer it, see who's bought property in that area. So from there, I saw you had bought a property. I saw basically what y'all spread was. I might have bought it for, 30, sold it at X amount, whatever it may have been. So I'm like, yo, this is something they may be interested in based off that. So then from there, all I had to do was look up the LLC. So you go to Ohio Secretary of Business search, see who owns the LLC. You guys' name popped up on that. Then I just skip trace you from there. You can hit up True People Search for free on skip tracing, or you can do batch skip tracing, whatever works best. Long story short, I hit y'all up like, yo, I'm DeAngelo. I see y'all bought some property in the area. Y'all looking for another one? And then that was history after that.
Listen, man, make sure you put on this part of the video, free game.
No, for sure.
Listen, when you called us, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, how because we actually just bought 2 properties within a quarter-mile radius. Like we had bought, you had one on Elmore, we had bought one on Dreaming, and we already had one on Borden. So when you reached out to us, I'm like, how we bought property down here? Then you told me you did it. I said, bro, this dude did some kind of researching and whatever and found out we bought this. Yeah. So I said, man, I like dude off the rip. The fact, because I'm like, ain't no other wholesaler ever came at us when we know about homes in other areas. So I like that. Then when we met you and I'm like, this dude young. I said, bro, I want to rock with him.
My God.
Because I'm looking at it and I don't want to anybody take this the wrong way, but say it was a guy my age that, did a bunch of, wrong stuff in his life, but I got a chance to deal with somebody who's starting off younger, I'm going to try to go this way, especially the way you found us. I'm like, this dude really into his craft. So we bought that. property from you. So I'm gonna give you shouts out to that, man.
No,
how you
100%.
came and found us.
Nah,
you know what I mean?
that.
No other wholesaler we ever, dealt with ever told me a story like that. We done reached out and found wholesalers, but how you came across that, then something else, man, I want to give you credit for. Like, we would always respect if you tell us, we like, man, you got any room? You be like, I ain't got much room on this one, y'all. And then we'd be like, we don't want to talk you down because we want you to make your money. So we'd be like, just bypass us on this one. And you like, that's what's up. I'm going to come at y'all with the next one. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That was always, and that's what I say, I enjoyed working with y'all, but then also it was different because I remember after I talked to you on the phone, y'all wanted me to meet you in person first. Yeah. So I still remember, I was kind of nervous too. At that time, I'm 20 years old. I pull up, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I didn't know what to expect, but I pulled out, you know what I'm saying? We chopped it up and also just for the flexibility of we always made the deals work too. So even if it was something like, I got you here and get you a little something there, we always made the deals work. So it was always good business. And I always appreciate that.
That's
exactly.
good business. You know what I mean? Like,
100%.
and on both sides.
Yes, sir.
Then you moved to Arizona.
Scottsdale, Arizona at that. So we probably did about 2-3 deals or whatever that first year. And then I ended up moving to, in December of 2019, right before COVID happened, moved to Scottsdale, Arizona.
Okay.
At that point, I was fully virtual, and I think that's when you probably got to a relationship with my dad. Exactly.
Sure.
So that's how that transition there.
Wow. So when you move out to Scottsdale, Arizona.
Yes, sir.
What was the reasoning for this? Like,
so Scottsdale, it was purely just scenery. I traveled out there because I was, like I said, Cincinnati born and raised. I've always seen people Cincinnati's one of them cities where either you get out and you experience the world, or you kind of stay here and this is where you're at for the rest of your life. So when me kind of seeing other people kind of go through that same thing throughout my life, I always felt like, man, I always want to experience the world.
Baby squirrel, just us alone in this crazy world till we stash a few nuts. Boys over girls, just kidding. We gon' have a healthy picking. Kids the only thing that's missing in the already perfect picture. You and me plus 6 to dinner. Family of 8 and all of them with ya. I grew up in a split parent household, only child with pops. Oldest of my mothers, having older step bros when I felt the toughest. Never started shit, but always finished something. Living in West, we going to Cincinnati public. All switched up cause they dad didn't know how to stop. Hitting the woman, hit my mama, fuck boy. Let's get back to the joy. 3 older bros, me being the youngest, take it from me overnight. I ain't do nothing, so let's do something love in person. Passion when we die, children at least have each other while we alive.
So then from there, real estate allowed me, afforded me the opportunity to be able to still conduct business, but then also go experience and live my life a little bit. So that being said, I transitioned from wholesaling real estate, me being a person going out to the deals, looking at the property, to me being a person that was completely virtual with it. So that's when I had to hire some boots on the ground. I had family help me out somewhat, but then also leaning on strong relationships that I had developed with buyers during that time had helped me as well. So to answer your question though, man, Arizona, it was just a matter of just the scenery. I fell in love with hiking. I went on a trip out there in September 2019.
And that's the ultimate goal in this business. Not to be a person of wholesaling, for 15 years. No, not at all. It's to be able to grow. And to be able to grow your real estate investment portfolio and to be able to grow as a real estate investor. Wholesaling, I look at that as stage 1. And if you're a beginning wholesaler especially, make sure you go ahead and rewind what I just said, because that can be very useful for you. And guys, just to interrupt the video, we are getting some distance. As you can see, we up here a little bit. And we are closer to that cave. And if you are a beginning wholesaler, I like to share some words of encouragement with you to hold it together when everyone else will understood if you fell apart. That is true strength. Quote by me, a motto, but that is very true. So if right now you're a wholesaler who's hitting that wall, haven't got your first deal yet, don't be discouraged. Know that everyone has been in your position.
I had put a number in my head bro, we're going to get this, and then I'm going to move to Arizona. Two months later, everything aligned itself, just fell into place for me to move to Arizona. So, yeah, it was really cool.
I got the property sold at $64,000, right? So that was $34,000, right? Now you you said you made, $4,000. I didn't say. So I made $4,000 on the first deal. But that's because I got it sold with somebody. Now this is a $34,000, split right there, right? Now that being said, guys, the vacant building maintenance license, it cost about $22,000 or $23,000, and then there was some back taxes that we took care of for them. So we came out with $8,000. Now there was a discrepancy there. So somebody, a couple people that I talked to, they said the end buyer is supposed to be the one that pays that vacant building maintenance license. Some people said it's the owner that's supposed to pay it. Now, for me, it was my first wholesale deal, so I was not going to make, that $23,000, $24,000. I was not going to put that between me and getting my first wholesale deal. So the lesson for you guys right there is do what it takes to get the deal done, especially if it's your first deal.
It was really cool, man. I stayed out there for like 3 years. Yeah. Virtual wholesaling the whole time, then moved to Fort Lauderdale, and we can go in it. Yeah,
when
yeah.
you hit us up and was like you told us just in, I'm like, damn, man, this dude, like, we just started really rocking with him.
Right.
And then you said, you still had one for sale, whatever. We bought it and met your dad, and I'm like, man, I'm looking at you like, man, this dude, what's up? I'm like, he no move, because me and Daryl have been debating, like, we heard stories about people who took their small business to like say Atlanta or Houston, and they was able to do so much more being a black man traveling to like another city. But then when you got like all these deep roots tied into the city, it kind of be like, dang, but do I want to go at this age and start over? But a young man like yourself, I mean, that made a lot of sense for you too. Not be like I ain't got all these. You don't have any children, do you?
Nah, I got a little. I got a son. He in a cage right now. I got a dog. I got a dog. Yeah.
But you ain't had nothing like really tying you to the city, so you was able to like, man, let me spread my wings out and see what's going on.
Yeah.
All right, okay.
And that really, helped spread my wings out, seeing what's going on. But then you get into like the flip side of things, right? Like from the standpoint of, I'm out here in Arizona, but in my head, I was so focused on leaving Cincinnati just from the standpoint of the market. I've been here so long, and I want to fully leave it and fully immerse myself in Arizona. Only way I do that is move my business out there, right?
Exactly.
So then that's when I'm still doing business here in Ohio, but then I split myself from the standpoint, let me start moving into Arizona, to Scottsdale, let me get the deals out here. Then that's where I lost my footing in a way, right? Because now it's like, I'm closing deals out there, things going good, but now I'm taking my energy. It's 24 hours in a day. I say that all the time. It's 24 hours in a day. You have to choose what you focus on. Choose your priorities. That's the only way you can get any deals done. Anything done is prioritizing stuff. That being said, my priority became out there, but out there wasn't good to me. So I lost my footing, but again, Cincinnati has always been here to save me. So I just picked it back up again in Cincinnati, but still virtually. So it was still cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
So after you out there, then you say you went to
Fort Lauderdale.
Fort Lauderdale.
Yes. So I stayed out Fort Lauderdale for a year. It was basically, I was in the summer in the heat. Phoenix, bro, it get 120 degrees out there. Dry heat, though, so it feels kind of good, but it's still dry heat.
So,
Yeah.
Okay.
So now it's like, let's get close to the water. So basically,
Hey, what up, Stepper? Never let the seller choose the title company. You always want to choose the title company, because what can happen is some buyers, they won't purchase the deal if they cannot choose the title company. So you always want to give yourself the most options to succeed. In a real estate transaction, you having the control, you can give the control over to the end buyer. If you give the seller control from the start, you basically don't even have a deal. Until then, though,
let's get close to the water. So basically, that's what I did out there. Got close to the water. Had a great time just living by the beach and stuff. Still wholesaling virtually. Still, doing my 1-2 with that. I fell in love with music and just found other creative avenues. But ultimately, I ended up coming back to Cincinnati as well to regain my footing, because it was the same thing. Going out to Florida, being immersed in this different environment, but Cincinnati is the thing that staying focused, make sure I stay focused there. Lost my focus, so I came back here for a little bit, and it's like a couple months, ended up moving back to Tampa, back to Florida to Tampa, to immerse myself in the real estate environment out there, and went out there for 2 years, actually had success towards the end of the time I moved out there, but I decided again, Cincinnati's what's been good to me. It's always been here and consistent for me. Let me move back to Cincinnati. So that's kind of how that went.
Man, did a lot of traveling, man.
Bro.
Like your age, like you're a young guy.
Yeah.
You've been around. I'm looking at myself like if I ever get financially where I ain't got to worry about nothing, I want to go to Miami.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If I just have money coming in,
Yeah.
I ain't got to worry about nothing.
I feel
like the weather, beautiful, the water. I ain't got to have
everything.
a yacht or nothing crazy down
Right.
there, but I wouldn't mind
just chilling,
being an older guy in an environment like that.
It'll suit you too. It'll suit you. I see it. Right? Hey, that's gonna happen. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. No doubt.
So tell me, what is SMP?
Scalp micropigmentation. So, let's back it up a little bit then.
Okay.
So, during that time of me when I first found out about wholesaling real estate, I actually started about a year later after I actually closed deals and all that, I decided to start a YouTube channel. So I started a YouTube channel. At that time, it's called Steps to Success. It's now DeAngelo Simmons, my name. That being said, though, I did that to teach people about wholesaling real estate.
Yep.
So about 4 or 5 videos in, it's like every video, my hairline just started going back. So I'm 20 years old during the time, you know, I'm 21, somewhere in there in that time. But it was something like, I want to teach people about this wholesaling real estate stuff. I think it's something that's great for people, opportunity-wise, to change the trajectory of their life. But damn, my hairline keep going back. What's going on? So every time I upload a video, I'm just seeing my hairline keep going back. I'm like, yo. That being said, it prompted me to start make a video just about addressing just that, just losing my hair, how that affected me, whatever, blah, blah, blah. That was in like 2021, 2020. About 3 or 4 years later, 2 years later, I decided to go bald. And 3 years later, I decided to get the SMP when I moved to Florida.
First step is discussing what type of haircut he wants for himself. What does he envision for him after we do this SMP? And I'm gonna go ahead and give him a really nice haircut, draw the hairline on, make sure that's exactly what he wants. And we're gonna get this SMP started, so check this out.
Chair. As you can see, the phone is shaking a little bit. I'm a little nervous, man. I'm nervous. A guy by the name of Taylor Perry, SMP, well-known artist in the industry or whatever. I got it done by him in Miami.
So
that said, one of the
guys, my hair starts like, I think you can see it like right now. Look, I told you I need to cut it. So like right here, you can see like kind of where it grows. That stuff like right there, bro. When I was like having my SMP, my hairline, no cap, started like right there. So it's like all this is tattooed. So yeah, all of that being said, they used to try to put the black stuff on me, and I couldn't go. I couldn't go for the black stuff.
That said, one of the biggest reasons, because like, you know, I was losing my hair, that was one thing, but then I go to buy some alcohol, it's people like, you know, they like, you good, we don't need to card you. Like, you good? You over 40, you good, you over 40. It's like, yo, I'm a young man, I ain't over there.
Right, yeah, I want to hear that on young
man. Right. So it was a little bit of that.
It's flip sides to everything, man, because I was just telling somebody the other day, man.
Yeah.
I was in a barbershop.
Yeah.
And dude was saying how like people call, like they might call him like school or unk, and I'm like, y'all be getting that. But this one girl, she called me Gramps, and I'm like, Gramps? Like,
right.
I was offended.
Right.
Like, she don't call me Gramps.
Yeah.
Daddy age or something. Like, well, go ahead, I feel you, man.
No, you speaking facts, man. And all that has to speak to is about, you know, confidence and self-acceptance, right? Because even somebody like you, confident within yourself, self-accepting, but everybody's human. We all deal with something, right? Hair loss is so universal. So I found out basically once I embraced the fact like, yo, I'm losing my hair, I can't do nothing about it, but I'm still going to create content, basically. Long story short, I was looking online, looking up like remedies, right? What do I want to do with my hair? At the time, I was still living in Arizona, but I was transitioning to, I knew I was moving to Florida.
Yep.
I didn't want to get a hair transplant done. I was thinking about going to Turkey or whatever.
Damn.
Yeah, when you go there, I mean, it's probably cost you like, you know, $3,000 to $6,000 depending on what it is, which isn't bad when you compare it to what it costs here in the States, which is going to be like $20,000 to $30,000, right? But at the same time, there's different health measures and things like that. Not to get too deep on it, but long story short, when I found Taylor Perry SMP, man, he really like, just me getting SMP brought back the youth, right? I felt like a lot of what I went through, you know, I did a lot of things when I was young. I'm 27 now. So like, when I say young, like I'm talking like 19 to about 24, right? So just within that time frame, I felt like I've been through so much. So like basically the SMP just helped me regain some youth back, added to my confidence, and just I'm still the same person internally, but people see me differently. So I love that.
Man, you know, they say things happen like the Lord or whatever work in mysterious ways, man. I always thought that type of stuff was scam. So let me find out the Lord sent you to me for me to get my shit together. You know
There you go.
It's like,
hey, you ain't far off though, bro. You look good. Yeah.
I had the bald head, and then during COVID, when you couldn't get your hair cut, my shit ended up, growing because I wasn't trying to get my barber to cut me in his basement. I wasn't tripping.
Yeah.
So when finally everything, I went back to the bar. My barber's like, man, I can give you a line. I'm like, what? He like, and you got a beard. I'm like, man, for real?
Yeah.
So I was hyped.
Yeah.
So, he cut me, and then he sprayed some shit in my hair. And my kids, they were staying at a hotel. And I left out the hotel. I left out the barbershop, went back to the hotel. And when I walked in that swimming pool, my kids seeing my hair, and they was like, man, I remember my youngest son, like, Daddy, like, is that marker or is that paint?
Right.
I'm talking about, I think I got a video of this, man. They was roasting me, man.
Yeah.
But I said, man, look, I don't want all that spray shit no
Right,
more, barber.
nope.
But I'm like, if I got a little something, you know what I'm saying? But I'm almost 50 now, so my shit thin and like it is what it is. But damn,
man,
I never knew that stuff was true. Like,
it works. I mean, everything. So S&P is more of an illusion, right? Like it's more so it has to depend on the lighting, depending on the angles and stuff like that. If you're in overcast, maybe it'll be a little bit more faded out, so you don't see it as much. Whereas the sun hit it, or you got the lights hitting it perfectly, then you're looking crisp, bro. You're looking good. But not like I said, like for you, you're not far off. Like literally, you could get a hair transplant, and you got a lot of hair on the back, which means you got a good donor area, right? So since you got a good donor area, what they'll do is take the hair from the back. They'll either do what's called a FUE or a FUT. Most likely you'll get a FUE done. You probably only need about 2,000 grafts right up there in the front of your hairline. Bring it down a little bit, bro. You be back, boy. You be back.
So listen here, FlipSide Nation. Anybody want to see me with this transplant done, we're going to start a donation. We're going to start a GoFundMe.
Let's get
y'all
it.
go ahead and donate something so y'all boy can come back.
Get them back. Yeah.
That's what's up, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so you start your social media to, like, because I seen on there where, I think that was YouTube, you was going around speaking to people. You be talking to people like with a mic or something.
So would you seriously date someone with kids?
It kind of depends. I definitely wouldn't not consider it. It's just kind of hard for me because I wouldn't want like the baby mama drama stuff. So like if they have a person in their life still that takes care of kids and they're not great at co-parenting. So I wouldn't be totally opposed to it, but I have to get more information as far as to what's the deal. Is there full custody? Is there not? It's just a lot of drama that already has problems. So you don't want to deal with that kind of stuff.
Case by case scenario type of thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know.
What's the deciding factor for you?
I think there's a lot that goes into a relationship, like family values, hobbies. They can make or break things. So I guess a lot of things have to go into consideration.
So you wouldn't count somebody out just because they have kids?
I guess I would have to think about it.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
So them having kids isn't a deal breaker for you?
Not at all. At this big age, you know, you have to expect that other people will have life experiences already. You know, like where everybody has a past, and you can't really fault them for that past, you know. So, yeah, definitely.
I like that. You're accepting. Appreciate you answering.
Yeah, so when I lived in Tampa, I did this dating event thing, right?
Okay.
It was Jigsaw dating, basically. So the flip side, basically, wholesaling is great, right? Because you work from home. I make my own schedule. I pretty much do what I want when I want to, which I'm really thankful for. However, it's more of a personal journey, right? Like it ain't really no team that I've worked with, which is why when I did move to Tampa, before I had left the brokerage that I was with, the main reason I was there is because I wanted to do what I was doing with like-minded individuals, not just like, hey, bro, you doing this, like, and then come on and do what I'm doing, like I'm teaching you, but like actually join a brokerage of people who want to do it. That being said, didn't work out how I imagined it. So I was back to doing wholesaling real estate by myself, which I enjoy. At that point, my main focus was doing it in Cincinnati, but I was still thankful enough to get some deals in Florida. But that said, I'm like, yo, like I need to expand my life, right? Like I had to do something differently. Basically my life looked like you wake up, cold call, go for a run, go work out, come back, cold call, do some real estate, and film a YouTube video, and then wake up, go to sleep, do the same thing again tomorrow. That being said, I found this Jigsaw event. It allowed me to get out and just be around people in a fun environment and just talk stuff. So yeah, I was interviewing people, just asking them about their dating preferences and things like that during the time. It helped me expand my social circle and just tap into the other bag from the standpoint of my social life. One of the craziest things about being a young entrepreneur and being so focused, like I say, it's 24 hours in a day. So when I was 19 to 24, where some people were developing, friendships in college and like just living life, going on trips with their friends and doing all that, bro, I was, like I said, that was my schedule. It was wake up, cold call, and you only eat if you kill something. So it's like a different type of focus that got to go into it, a different type of intensity that got to go into it. That being said, my social life really, as I look back, like I said, at 27, my social life really started developing when I turned 25 years old, for me to tap into the other side of myself from being just social and stuff like that. So that was part of that, helping me, and also doing stuff like this is really helping me just bring out the other side of myself.
How was the market like working in the Florida? Because I'm thinking like the houses down there, like it'd probably be, and I'm sure they got different kind of areas.
Yeah.
But was it like $1 million homes? Like what I mean?
Yeah. So I can say what made me love Tampa a lot more than the Fort Lauderdale area is because there's such a wide range of what homes can sell in Tampa, right?
Okay.
Tampa is so huge. So you got places like Zephyr Hills, like Pasco County, like that's an area where your average house, more like Cincinnati, like you got a house that's going maybe 200 to 250. You get an actual nice house that's already built. You go to Hillsborough County, Pinellas County, you're spending about $200 on a house that need to be fixed up, right? And then if you go to Clearwater Beach area, you're spending like $400, $500 on a vacant lot. And then you building like a $2-3 million house. So I found a lot of success in Tampa after the hurricane. So there was a hurricane a couple years back, and a lot of houses were sitting vacant. They were waiting on insurance claims. Towards the couple, really like the middle of last year, a lot of those houses had got their insurance claims. So I just was able to start closing them back from there. But it was a lot of driving for dollars, right?
Exactly.
So in wholesaling, it's like, how can you scale? Like if you're driving for dollars the whole time, it's no different than another job from the standpoint of trading time for money, which all entrepreneurship is, unless you really scale up and make it a real business. That being said, Tampa, I found a lot of success driving for dollars, and the range of the markets, it depends on what county that you're in, but it's a lot of opportunity out there. Anybody can do wholesaling anywhere. It's just what worked for me is Midwest markets type stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think when we went to Universal Studios, I want to say, for my son Dylan's birthday. We took all the kids down there.
At Orlando area.
It seemed like, but I'm saying it was for something. I went down and I remember we passed through Tampa, but I can't remember exactly what it was, what I was doing in Florida. But I remember we passed through Tampa.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking about, Tom Brady playing for the Bucks at that time. But man, let me give you a true story, man, about, it was after you, I think after, you was gone.
Okay.
So I ran into a guy named Mr. I Buy Houses. That's what he's called. He out of Texas.
Okay.
And he teach wholesaling courses. So before we go to meet him, and Vic be telling me I be doing a lot of stuff like old school. He be telling me, man, this stuff you doing, all writing it out by hand, man. We could put a spreadsheet on the computer and do this. He like, man, you just too old school when it comes to some stuff. So I drove like down, one street in Lincoln Heights. Every house that looked like it was vacant, I wrote down the address. Okay. So when I wrote down the address, I end up getting on the auditor page. Yep. So when I get on the auditor page, I come up with the name. So when I get this name, I go to Facebook to see if I can, you know what I mean? So one name I seen, and I'm like, damn, this dude own, a lot of property. Yeah. So I asked my cousin, I seen him and one of my cousins was like friends on Facebook. I say, cuz, what's up with this dude right here? You cool with him? He got a bunch of property. Yeah. He like, that's our cousin. I'm like, damn, that's our cousin. He like, yeah. Then he told me how we was related. Yeah. So I hit him up. And I was like, man, I see you got all these properties, man. They vacant. Like, what's going on? He's like, they really my uncles, but he got them in my name. So I tried to do the wholesaling, but then so many people I would call wouldn't respond or wouldn't call back. And I'm like, man, that shit, that's too much of a grind. So do you get like a lot of calls where people won't respond or won't answer, or you sending out like, how do you like muscle through that? I couldn't handle it.
Nah,
like, for real,
I feel that, man. That's a real question you just asked when I'm laughing. Like, this one of the misconceptions of wholesaling, right? Somebody just got a check and try to make it sound easy. You got $5,000 in a couple of days or whatever. It's like, yeah, but you didn't see all the calls and the people that didn't answer, how many times people hung up on them, how many times people said this is a scam, how many times this, that, and the third. And then I go back personally, what I draw from is my football roots, right? Like, that's why I say, like, for me, the passion of seeing athletes find themselves and find their purpose after football is so important. But the only way you do that is by still taking the fundamentals of what made you successful in football and applying that to other places. You got to go wake up in the morning and run sprints and do X, Y, and Z with no guarantee that you'll start, no guarantee that you'll win. But you know, if you do the process, you got a better chance of winning.
Sure.
So it's the same thing with wholesaling real estate. There's no guarantee that if you call 100 people, that 3 people will answer and that you get one deal. But you know that if you do call those 100 people 7 days a week, you got a better chance at winning. So it's about loving the process more than the results.
And you got to be persistent.
Persistence. And it's like, but that being said, it's also not a way to live life from the standpoint of scaling, right? There's people out here that's doing this same business on easy mode. There's like so many different avenues, so many different ways to reinvest back into your business. You just got to be comfortable in knowing, for one, where you're at and knowing the rules of the game based on where you're at. So that's the main thing that keep me going, just being like, yo, this is where I'm at. Let's do it.
I got the motto, stay down till you come up.
There it is.
And the stay down till you come up mean, like I said, we take off and start walking down 75. We eventually end up in Miami.
Facts.
But when we get to Gatlinburg, Tennessee, we like the chalets in the mountains, and we say, oh, you know what, we just gonna post up right here.
Yeah.
Then we'll never know what Miami may have had to offer.
Facts. There it is. No, 100%.
So like you got in that game right there.
Yeah.
I folded quick. I'm like, I made 2, 3 calls, and I said, man, I'm cool on this. Like, this ain't for me. Because I was telling Daryl, if we can cut out the person who, if we find the houses ourselves, then we don't got to pay, which the markup don't be a lot. You know what I'm saying? And I see like people who do the wholesaling, they actually earn they keep. Like you said, you might make 100 calls and you know what I mean? Like sometimes you can shoot a blank.
Right.
But I understand the grind. Once I tried it myself, I understand the grind that goes into it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
100%.
So, out of all the wholesalers I dealt with, man, you was like, I think you the one we bought a couple properties from you. The other might have been one from this person, but I feel like we developed a relationship.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
100%.
I'm an older guy and I respect, at the time you was like, I know you was like one of my son's age. And I'm like, man, this dude, a young dude out here, entrepreneur, I want to help somebody like that. But you teach people now how to wholesale also, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah. I still teach people how to wholesale, getting them more behind the scenes into my personal business and things like that, opportunities for that. And then you said something too I want to touch on about just staying down till you come up. And also, I love the analogy that you gave as far as being going to Miami. But if you stop in Gatlinburg, you never know what Miami has to offer. So there's a book that I really love. My old broker, Matt, he had gave it to me when I was down in Tampa. Basically, it's called The Alchemist. You familiar?
I'm not.
Oh, man. So it's an amazing book. Basically, alchemy is when you turn base stone metals, basically making nothing into something, basically.
Okay.
So one of the chapters in the book, and the whole premise of the book, is about this boy finding his treasure, and his treasure ends up being where he left, like at his home base all along. But he feels like he has to go out and travel. So he told his dad, like, man, I have to see what's out there. His dad told him in the beginning of the book, like, plenty of men go and travel the road, travel the world, all just to come back here, basically what he told him. But that being said, there's one part of the book where the boy goes and he's at a crystal shop. He's like with this crystal maker. Basically, somebody took all his money and all that. He had to get his money back up at this crystal shop. So he at this crystal shop, and in order for him to get his money up, he has to work for this crystal maker. So he ends up transforming this shop that was basically dead and gone into a blossoming and booming shop. So this helps him get the money to continue his journey. At the crystal shop, the crystal maker wanted him to stay, but he knew he couldn't stay because he had to continue his journey to find his treasure.
Exactly.
So then that's one part of it. Then he gets into the desert. At the desert is like he learns about the wind and basically the laws in the universe. I'm a real spiritual person. So he learns about the laws of the universe in the desert. So at that point, when he's out there, he ended up basically coming across an oasis. So in this oasis, he finds his love, and his love is Fatima. So when he finds his love, Fatima, at this oasis, he's in the best state he's ever been in, like the best place of his life that he ever been in. But then this basically person ends up coming and telling him, like, yo, if you stay here, you'll end up thinking your whole life, like, why didn't I go? Why didn't I go? And you'll miss the signs and the omens of the universe to actually go. Long story short, what happens is that he has to leave his oasis where he has his girl, he has his happiness, he has a village, everything that he wanted to have. And he goes and he finds his treasure. Once he finds his treasure, he gets beat up and his treasure's not even there. He returns home, he thinks he's failed. And then he goes back to where the book started, and underneath a rock at the church where the book started, he found his treasure. But it just goes to show, man, you keep going, but you never know where your treasure really is, but you just keep going.
Check that
Yeah,
out,
it's a really good book, really good book.
So share your socials, how somebody can find you? What are our socials you on?
Yeah, get at me. I'm on YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, DeAngelo Simmons on all platforms. DeAngelo Simmons on YouTube at D Safe Space. That's the at name. And then I have at Dee Simms _ on Instagram and TikTok, and then DeAngelo Simmons on LinkedIn. Reach out to me if you're interested in real estate, guys. Just DM me from the podcast, and I'll be more than happy to share with you some things that I know.
So going forward, like, you know, I call my crew, the followers, we call them the FlipSide Nation.
Yes, sir.
What exactly could the FlipSide Nation do to help benefit any of your businesses?
Man, just subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's the main thing, and just stay tapped into the journey. Yeah, that's really it, man. I'm at a point now, I'm just living life. I feel like when I first started my whole just entrepreneurship, especially my content journey, there was so much like resistance. I feel like throughout my life, what I had to overcome was resistance, right? And resentment as well. I started from real estate just like thinking like it's supposed to be a team thing. Everybody help me. Then I had to grow and learn that everybody has their own journey. So it's like okay for other people to try real estate and just test it out and do that. Now I don't have expectations on anybody. So if anybody just want to support, man, just subscribe. That's it.
That's what's up.
Yes, sir.
Where you see yourself in 5 years?
Owning property, owning lots of property, being able to control the property, I'd say. And yeah, and man, living wherever I want based off of passive income from previous things that I've put in, previous efforts that I put forth.
So you ain't never bought a house yet?
No, I have not. Well, I bought one, but I didn't keep it. So I did buy one. I bought one on a land contract a few years back. That's one of them things, right? I learned when you buy property, you got to have money to keep the property. I bought this property, man. This thing had a sewage line came up. It was $10,000 to fix it. I thought I was good. I only had to put like $2,000 down to buy it on a land contract. It was a property on Bake Street in North College Hill. $2,000 down to fix it. It only cost like $40,000. I financed it for like 5 years. I had cash flow. The tenant was paying like $800 a month. I had the tenant's paying $800 a month. The person was like $500 a month that I owed them. So I'm like cash flowing $300. Long story short, when that sewage line happened, I had to sell it. Their basement was flooding, and there was a big tree in there.
Yeah.
So my thing is like, when you own in property, you also own in the liability that you need to make sure you have cash set aside for it. So I'm in no rush to do that right now.
That's wise.
Yes, sir.
We had a football player, young boy. He's a freshman in high school, about to be a sophomore year. Go to Moeller.
Okay.
I think he's
Yeah.
a star.
Yeah.
And we were speaking about. And I said, I don't like to come up with a plan B because I understand this is your, goal.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I don't even want to say what if the football don't work out. Because let's say you go to the NFL and you get a bag. What you gonna do with that bag?
That's the best question.
What you gonna do with that bag?
Right.
So he's somebody like him and his family.
Yeah.
Like I would want to introduce them to you.
Okay.
Because you said something about that. Because it's
Yeah.
like when athletes like get that money. A lot of them, well, I ain't gonna say a lot of them, but I'm gonna say some of them. Some of them end up going broke because they got frivolous spending habits, not thinking about their future. But I would want somebody like him to be grounded with, and real estate gonna always be here.
Right.
You know what I mean? If you got the money, and if you can find properties or whatever, and show them like, boom, this gonna be a fixer upper or whatever. Like I feel like somebody like you, even went to college, played football, you'll be like a good. Like I'm gonna say mentor, somebody to be in this corner. So I'm definitely
I love to chop it up with him, man. And then to touch on athletes just a little bit more, because that's one of my biggest passions. Like I said, I understand being an athlete, and at the time when you're an athlete, especially if you're good, if you're in high school and you're good, you're in college and you're good. It's like, man, well, now I'm happy that college players can get paid, right? It's a different type of story.
It is.
Man, it's different. Now they got some bread to leave with, but it's like being able to understand that being an athlete is being a good athlete is the result. It's not the cause, right? It's like cause and effect. The effect of being a good athlete is like it's all these things that you made yourself into, all the late nights, all the early mornings, all the grind, everything that you had to do, but you can take that same passion and focus and put it into anything else and still be successful. So being an athlete doesn't mean that if you're not a top athlete that you're not successful. Sometimes, I read a quote, they say sometimes you have to change the meaning of success in order to still be successful. And that's a real.
Damn, I like that.
That's real.
Yeah, I ain't never heard that. I like that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. His name was Young Juice, man. And I told him, like, you know, the school that he come from. Well, you familiar with these schools?
Yeah.
He went to Princeton.
Okay, yeah.
So I went to the Princeton Moeller game last year, and I'm saying, you know, I'm a Princeton fan.
Right.
So I'm going, you know, and I'm hearing people in the crowd, adults, and they talking about some kid and how he transferred and all that. So I'm hearing the parents talking about it. I'm hearing people talking, but I don't got no idea what they talking about or who they talking about. Like, you know, they was upset. You hear me? They was upset.
Yeah.
So then when the mother, which I know the mother, when she reached out to me and was like, you know, I want to bring my son to come on the podcast, and she was like, and then she told me who he was, and I'm like, hold up, so your son the one they was talking about in the stand? I'm like, but she was, and I like, he left. She like, he left Princeton. I'm like, oh damn, he went to Moeller, but man, he was 14 years old, man, sat right there and was just mature. Yeah. Like the questions, like I answered the questions, the conversation we had. Yeah. 14 years old, man, was mature. And like, he, you know, he said, man, I got love for, like, you know, the coaches at Princeton. Right. I had been there my whole life, but then I felt like it was a better opportunity at a Moeller. Yeah. So when I look at Princeton, somewhere I come from, Princeton we start losing to Moeller, man. They beat us so many times, it wasn't even a rivalry no more. Right. And it's like, you know, back then, a lot of times we might have had a lead at halftime, Moeller go in there, make adjustments, come out. So it's like, I think Princeton need to make sure they elevate, you know, the coaching. Yeah. Like the coaching got to be as good as what they got at Moeller. We know Moeller got alumni. Yeah, like, it's different. You know, people that went there, Barry Larkin and all that stuff. So they got money and people, you know, pay to go to that school. Facts. You know what I mean? So they do recruiting. Right. But he definitely somebody I'm gonna introduce you to.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah, for sure.
What's up, man? Any plans on like any kids in the future? Like,
heck yeah, man. I want 8 kids.
8 kids?
I want 8 kids, bro. And that's why I say, that's, you know what's funny? Just that's why the focus has always been making my business like around my lifestyle, because I've always thought about that. I want 8 kids, but I want to be there. I want to be involved. So I understand I can't be. It's only so much you can do, right? So like, I want to make sure that all the work that I'm putting in right now, it pays for my 8 kids, and we all able to live our life, and not only pays for them, but gives them an opportunity to, because I feel like it's different when you give somebody money versus giving them an opportunity, right? So you can give somebody a fish, but it's different teaching them how type stuff. Exactly. So, man, heck yeah, I want 8 kids. I want a big family, bro. So
how your dad doing?
My dad's doing well, man. I have to link y'all up, man. He's in the content as well, and also, like I said, 365 Never Ending Fight. That's my dad's stuff. It's about sickle cell, helping people out with sickle cell anemia, raising that. I have sickle cell trait. My dad has sickle cell. Okay. So being able to just, you know, basically keep punching, keep swinging with life. You know, it's like get to stepping, keep going, keep swinging, no matter what you face, for real. And he's the testament of that, for real. So
dang,
Pop's been cool.
So you know, it's been you know, some years since which I don't even know, how did you reach out to me? Like, how did that come about?
I found y'all on Instagram. I saw, because I saw Daryl at first. I saw his Instagram, and then I clicked and I saw it. I just chopped it up with him.
I told him like you was
I
just talked to him. I said, oh, okay.
I was like, I'm coming on to your profile. He was like, So me and him just chopped it up. Me and Daryl, we stayed in contact a little bit throughout the year. So I found him on there. Then I saw the 30-day flip bro page, and I saw like something. I'm like, wait, this is a podcast? I clicked on it. I saw the link tree, bro. I saw the links. I saw this official.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw the podcast on the bench. And then to touch on what the market.
Here,
oh, okay. That's a guy, Vic. Yeah.
I don't know nothing about none of that shit.
Hey, y'all bubbling. Y'all bubbling, bro. Y'all popping for real. I thought that was really dope. And then also, I really messed with the theme of it, the FlipSide Podcast. I really just messed with the theme of that. Like, it's a flip side to everything, as we just discussed. And also, there's a flip side to success. There's a flip side to failure. It's like, you may be successful, but you may be failing at something. So it's just like knowing about, man, I mess with it, bro. I mess with it.
Listen.
Yeah.
Even what you said, like, about, it's so many things, like it's so many gems that can come out of this. Yeah. You got gems that parents can learn from. Like, your father left an environment that he was raised in to you know, provide a better environment for you. Yeah. And that's what I did with my children. Like, I'm like, I got to get my kids out of Licking Heights. Like, I wasn't cool with us, you know, coming outside the house and dudes just out there sitting on the car talking about, man, you know, it'd be, you know, me, my wife, and my kids, and they're like, man, I did this tour last night.
Right.
And no disregard for the woman or chick. And I'm like, man, damn, man, you don't see, like, disrespect. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I wanted my kids to be in a better environment than the environment that I came in.
Facts.
Like, part of being a parent, the objective is for you to be a better parent to your children than your parents were to you. And I feel like with your father moving out, and when you kind of told us this story like a while back, I had a respect for him because he had did that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when you talked about another gym, when you was in college, you end up dropping out of college. You didn't graduate from college, but that didn't stop you.
Facts.
So it could be somebody that's going through something right now, in school right now, or just, dropped out of school last semester and they thinking like, it's over, I'm a failure. But you right here, a success story, because that didn't stop you. Traveled the states, been in different, you know what I'm saying? Did so much. Somebody can look at you and you can be motivation. You can be inspiration because you did it. So I love people to come and sit up. Don't get me wrong. We have felons that come on here, people who now made mistakes in life. But I love when somebody can come on here and tell a positive story so people can look at this too. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate that,
like,
bro.
you really, like, you're a motivation, man.
No doubt.
Like, you ain't, and then when you said you had the little odds and end jobs, then you heard something on at JD Byright and you heard something about it and you took that leap. You took that leap of faith.
Yeah,
and
man.
look how many years we talking later and you still dealing with that. You done made plenty of money out there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So the Breakfast Club, shout out to the Breakfast
Shout
Club.
out to the Breakfast Club.
Once again, you know
Big
what
shout
I'm
out to the
saying?
Breakfast
Like,
Club.
I want somebody to be able to say they heard something on here and was to take it somewhere and were able to change their life.
Heck yeah.
That's the impact I'm trying to have.
Heck yeah,
You know what I
man.
mean? I got my Prices Initiative, and that's what I take. I'm all about building stronger communities.
Yeah.
And sometimes I know my partner be like, I'm stuck in my ways. I had somebody come on the podcast one day and they was, man, I know somebody got a weed dispensary, man. They probably let you put weed on the table and you can advertise. I'm like, man, I ain't really into that, man.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I get it, it's legal, but I don't feel like, I don't want to promote that to like the young people out here because I feel like they're going to be wasting a lot of money. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you, yeah.
And that's just one of them things where I don't want to do things just to make money. I feel like, the creator looking at me right now, some of the things I've been through in my life, now I'm out here trying to teach people to have a better life.
Yeah.
Now, if somebody choose to do it, I don't know what the fuck you doing that. I ain't into that.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna put it out here like that's one of them things that I feel like people should be doing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Nah, I feel that. And it's funny too, cause like what I like about you, bro, you wear your heart on your sleeve. I watched just before coming in here. Actually, I saw like the channel subscriber video, I guess that y'all have for channel subscribers, and it was like you at a I guess at a prison, and you were talking to kids, and you got emotional.
I was actually at a school.
Oh, okay. All right, I saw like some.
They brought. Yeah.
Okay.
Listen, bro.
Yeah.
So let me break that down to you.
Yeah.
I got invited to come and talk to some kids, and they listen, man. I felt, I don't know. Let me tell you this. It was a judge, black. It had a black judge there, a black fire chief, a black police chief, and a black something else like a police officer. All these guys had been on the force, like they was my age, and they was down there about to retire. It was like a black lawyer there too.
Okay.
So they got up there and said their story or whatever, and I'm like, what am I even doing here with these dudes? Like, they are a success story. I'm the only failure in the room. Like, how they even got me on the same stage with these dudes? Like, and I'm like, but I got invited. They knew my story, and they wanted me to, like, talk to these kids. So when I got up there to speak, man, and I just felt like the kids, they gravitated toward me.
'Cause it's real.
They didn't want to talk to none of them. And like the guy who brought all the kids, he like, why y'all running over there to talk to him? Y'all should want to talk to them. They the ones to get you a job and all this. And the kids was like, cause they don't know what I'm going through. He know what I'm talking about. They ain't never carried no pistol. They don't know what it's like out here in the streets.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, they got a point. I got the validation because I've been through what they've been through.
Right.
But I'm telling them, I'm embarrassed. I'm still out here working to take care of my family. These dudes about to retire. Like, I wish I would have went down that street to where I can be about to retire right now. So it became emotional because I'm like, man, I ain't the one y'all want to be like. This who y'all want to be like. Man, you got a judge right here, man, a black judge, a lawyer, police officer, fire chief. And they been in here for years, and they come in here offering y'all could this summer go possibly get a job becoming a firefighter. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, I felt comfortable when it was time for me to tell my story because it was my story.
Right.
But I'm like, I said, I don't even feel like I'm deserving to be on the stage with these type of dudes, like the type of success that they now did. You know what I'm saying? But the kids, they all wanted to gravitate toward me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And I'm like I say, man, I feel like I had to, now I understand I had to go through what I had to go through to have the validation to be able to speak to kids.
Right.
Because I went through it. I ain't read about it in the book.
Exactly.
You got a lot of counselors out here that's working with kids. They read about it in the book, but they don't know what it's like to be out there in the trenches of the life.
Yes.
And I've been out there in the trenches of the life, and I can also tell the youth, this ain't where you want to be.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? I went through it. Like, you want to become that firefighter or something like that. You want to be some to where you can take care of your kids and not have to. I ain't gonna never have a retirement plan because I ain't never worked. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't able to work like that. But I had to become an entrepreneur. Being locked up from 17 to 28, coming home. Then it was like the world wasn't happy to see me, so I had to figure it out. You know what I mean? But
you did figure it out though, and that's the thing, man. Like I hear what you saying as far as like the lawyer, the judge, and all these things, but you know, for one, times have changed so much with that kids gravitate towards realness, but then also your story's still being written. I think that's the cool part, right? The judge, the firefighter, all of them, like, yeah, they're retired and that's cool, but your story's still being written. And also you got so much to benefit from your past and so much to give, bro. You right where you're supposed to be, my man. You're right where you're supposed to be 100%.
that's a good perspective.
Yes,
man.
sir.
That's positive, man.
No,
I
yeah.
appreciate that,
Yeah,
man. That's
yeah.
positive, man.
That's real.
What's up, man?
Yes, sir.
I hope we can link up, man. Like I said, I'm still, you know, I still be messing with the real estate. This now took over. Like I've been going hard on this, because I'm gonna say, what it's been? I think it's been, Vic, what it's been about a month and a half ago I had that surgery. Yeah, about a month
Already
and a half
back,
ago, man.
and that's a blessing that you here and that you up and at it, bro. Yeah,
man,
congratulations on
man.
that, for sure.
That's like, you know what I mean? Because when you said your father like dealing with the, you know, sickle cell and stuff, and like, you know, Daryl been telling me like, big, like, man, it's a lot of people out here that's going through or maybe going through what you had, like, because, you know, I type 1 diabetic since I was 12 years old, and I be looking at my kids like, you know, they younger, and I'm like, man, I was 12 years old having to check my blood sugar in school at half times of the basketball game.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying, taking shots like while I was in school and stuff, and I be looking at them like, man, like damn, like I was 12, like had to be damn near like grown when it came to taking care of myself. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I definitely want to start, you know, people who dealing with the health issues, because I'm gonna do like I think I'm gonna do an episode on me just having a kidney transplant and a pancreas transplant.
Yeah,
you know
that'd be
what
powerful.
I mean? Yeah. I'm gonna have an episode on that, man. But is it anything you want to leave the people with?
Man, I guess I would like to get some actionable steps on if you wanted to get started in wholesaling real estate. You know, if you're somebody just watching this, like, how do I get started right now and today? Biggest thing you can do, right? Like, especially if you're in the Hamilton County area. Hamilton County, they have this thing called the Hamilton County Rental Registration List. Basically, it's every person who owns rental property in Hamilton County, they have to register through this list. If you go to Hamilton County Auditor and you look up like property search, you'll find the Hamilton County Rental Registration List. If you literally just download that list, man, and just start calling, all you gotta do is literally look up the person who owns the property. They'll give you the parcel ID. You'll take that parcel ID, input it inside the Hamilton County Auditor property search. When you put that in, you'll click what's called a rental registration, and then the number pops up. If you really wanted to get started today and not just watch something, do that. Call about 100 people today. Just call 50 people for the next 5 days. See what happens. It's actionable steps that you literally can get started right now today. Get to stepping as always.
We might not call this an episode. We gonna call this free game. Y'all know the motto. Thanks for coming, brother.
Likewise,
Stay down till
brother.
you come up.
Yes,
Peace.
sir. Yes, sir. Peace. Thanks for having me. My G. That was awesome, bro. Yeah.